This is Behind the Curtain IMO. I'm Betsy Jordan. Thank you for being here. In deciding what I was going to talk to you about today, I had some choices. There have been videos I've given you where I have touched on certain issues but not gone into full depth about them. I'm going to talk a little bit about my own personal experience with what was happening with public education and the school system and then the university after that. Public education is usually something that's handled on the state level. And what was beginning to happen in 2014, and probably before that, well before that, but that's when I first became aware of it. So I can just say from personal experience, I was briefed on I had an education briefing that was organized by people who were very instrumental in helping me understand the issues that would face me as a legislator should I win my campaign. We knew that I was not going to win that race, but I still used it as a soapbox to raise awareness for the issues that were in front of us. And I ran to win, because if I'm going to put my name on it, I'm going to do as good a job as I can. And so I did. I ran to win, and I ran hard. And I raised many, many issues, but public education and what was happening to the public education system was something that really concerned me then and concerns me now. You see, there's this thing about learning. We learn in a lot of different arenas. As human beings, we learn through relationships. We learn through science. We learn through experimentation. We learn auditorially. We learn visually. There are a lot of different ways of classifying the way that people learn. Well, my parents always believed in public education. They believed that it was another way to socialize people. In other words, different people from different walks of life going to the same place, learning with each other, meant more acceptance of our differences and also recognition of our similarities. That's never been bad advice. That's part of the issue that is happening here in our country, is that not enough people are hanging out with each other and appreciating their differences and acknowledging their similarities. Public school is one place where that was happening, but then there were people that decided they wanted to try some new ideas, and so they developed charter schools. There were students that needed different kinds of education, but it wasn't socioeconomically divided. It was decided based on kids' abilities and aptitudes and that sort of thing. And so they had different charter schools separated out to try out new ideas with some of these kids that needed specific instruction and could master certain arenas and perhaps not so strongly in others. Those charter schools were meant to be brought back into the public school system. But then somebody discovered that those charter schools could make money. Now, I've touched on this before, influencing video, but making money, then became the thing. Okay, let's open a charter school. As time went on, regulation for charter schools, of course, was also altered. There wasn't as much regulation for a private charter school as there was for public education schools. What that meant is that there's no standards for what makes for a good education there. And so the teachers weren't as qualified either. So while they may be paying their teachers more than in a public school, they're taking money out of the public school and putting it into these private schools and not bringing it back. They use a voucher system for that. Now, understand that I'm not going to talk to you about the whole details about how that is run and how the administration is run and how that whole thing works. But what you're finding is that people are throwing out, I'm okay with them getting rid of the Department of Education like they mentioned in Project 2025, because what have they done for us? Well, they're not understanding that it's been being dismantled piece by piece from the bottom up. But that makes our country weaker. It makes our country more vulnerable because our populace is not educated. The kids are not hanging with kids that are dissimilar to them, not as often. And we're not able to protect our kids because it's not a whole community surrounding these schools. It needs to be a community made up of citizens who give a damn. It is a divide and conquer strategy. that is happening in our world. And we, at one point, were very interested in unifying, in integration, in bringing everyone together, and in nurturing and fostering a belief in our country that was sustainable, that was building our strength. And where we started was with our children. Now there's less and less interest in taking care of the children and more interest in taking care of our pocketbooks. There's something that needs to change about that. This is Behind the Curtain, in my opinion. Thank you for being here.